Welcome back to the Team of One podcast. I'm Mo Choice, and in this episode, I spoke to Peggy Sullivan about 3 things: overcoming marketing doubts to find new clients, one-to-one work versus group coaching, and how to leverage your local network. I hope you enjoy the conversation. Peace. Welcome back to the Team of One podcast. Today, we're joined by Peggy Sullivan. Who are you?
Who am I? Peggy Sullivan, mother of 2, married for 30 years, ADHD coach, lover of nature. So here to help people.
Amazing. Do you identify as a solopreneur?
I do. Absolutely.
And how do you define the term solopreneur?
I've been thinking about that a lot, listening to the other episodes and things. And I think what it is regardless of how many people you work with, it's kind of a shared vision or a shared goal. So if everybody's working toward the same goal with the same kind of passion, then you're a team. If you're kind of hiring, like you mentioned before, if you're hiring somebody to cut your hair kind of thing, then they're part of the machine, but they're not part of the panure. If that makes sense.
I think that's really clever, actually. I think that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, I've got nothing to say about that. What inspired you to become one?
I have worked, so being wired differently. Every job I've ever had, I go in and I'm thinking, okay, how can I make this easier for the next person? How do I save them the headaches that I'm currently experiencing? Which causes me to say, well, why do we do it this way? Which is every boss's favorite question. And so I would constantly make these situations in which I was making it better as far as efficiencies, but I was apparently not the best fit for the organization necessarily, because I wanted to make things easier for everybody else, which you would think would be a good thing. But so I constantly bounced around because I didn't feel like I was really able to be who I wanted to be and support the people the way I wanted to support them, because there was always this, well, this is how we've always done it. Well, this is the restriction here. It's like, yeah, but why? I don't know. Like, well, that's not good enough for me. I got to figure out why. So when I finally stumbled on thinking about being a coach, I was like, oh, I could actually help people do it the way I do it, have systems in place that support me and them. And I don't have to have all these weird rules or the way we used to do it, or, all the restrictions that normally come with a regular job.
And what did the early days look like? Like when you first went solo? Like, talk me through the challenges and the struggles.
So early days were in 2020. So that was interesting for everybody. Graduating from the program and having other coaches that I could talk to and work with. And we did all sorts of coaching of each other as practice and figuring out the tools that work best. And when I first started working with clients, of course, I was totally nervous, like, oh my God, I hope I do this right. And then after literally the first conversation with the first person, I was like, oh no, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And I was totally comfortable. I loved every minute of it from beginning to end. And it was challenging to find clients, but the work itself was always like, yep, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
So you knew that this was the right path for you. Where did the doubts come in? Where did the second guessing come in?
Mostly probably on the, like, marketing and PR seemed like a black box. And it's just one of those things where it's been so sold in our society that you have to have the degree, or you have to have the company, or you have to have the expert in marketing. And the more I got into it, I'm like, there's nothing complicated about any of this. It's just, it intimidated me because I'd never done it. I didn't know anything about it. And it felt like I was missing a piece. I'm like, well, maybe if I had the degree, maybe if I had a marketing expert, I'd have this piece that would just magically make everything work and have a flood of clients. So that was kind of the doubt, was like, do I have all the pieces? Do I know what I'm doing? That kind of stuff. But for the coaching part, there was never really any doubt that that's what I was good at and supposed to be doing.
So it's a common thing, right? When people say, I
Mm-hmm.
love to do it and I wanted to do it, but I wasn't sure, or there were doubts, or I didn't know about the marketing or the sales side, or
Mm-hmm.
how did you tackle those, and how did you get through them?
Uh, Stubborn. I'm of Irish heritage, and I don't know if you know much about them, but they're quite stubborn. So I just kept going. I'm like, well, I know none of this is overly complicated. And so I just kept trying stuff and putting the word out there and talking to people I knew. And I just kind of kept going. And when I doubted myself, I was like, well, okay, that seems normal. I mean, I'm a coach, right? So I know that doubt is normal, um, but you still get caught up in it. And so I would just say, okay, well, what else can I try? Like, what's something different I can try that I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to work, but it's a new adventure, new puzzle. And that's what kind of kept me engaged with it, I guess. If I was doing the same thing over and over again, besides feeling like I was going crazy and not getting results, then I probably wouldn't have been able to keep going. But I just kept trying different stuff.
Any other big challenges?
Um, on the business side, so I've done so many different jobs, one of which was office management and running a consulting firm and things like that. So the business side of it was never too confusing. It was mostly just the how do I get clients and enough clients so that I can do what I want to do.
And when did you
So
know?
that's been,
When did you know
go ahead.
that you'd achieved that?
I'm still working on it. So one of the things I've learned is that I'm actually good at what I do, and it shouldn't sound like a surprise, but I am constantly looking for new clients because I help them so quickly. And it's been a realization in the last couple of months where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I have to. This is why it's a constant thing. Is I'm literally helping people, and then my pitch to most of my clients is, I'm here to work myself out of a job. Like, you're swell, but we don't need to celebrate anniversaries together. I want to give you tools and you go about your business, and then I will help the next person. And so it's just been a constant looking for new people.
Got it. Um, if someone you cared about immensely wanted to go down
Mhm.
your path, what would you say to them?
I would say, uh, yeah, I'd say prepare yourself for the ups and downs. Prepare yourself for feeling very, very solo. Um, Even though there's like other coaches and, you can get into groups of whatever aspect of business you want, you're still all by yourself in your office day after day. And you might be connecting with people once in a while on the, like we are now. Um, but yeah, it's just you and your thoughts. So you have to just be prepared for that and know that if you feel good when you're doing the actual coaching or whatever job you choose to do, then you're doing the right thing. And that's what you need to focus on, is that feeling of, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, then it's worth the sacrifice of whatever else.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so let's say you've gotten to a stage where there's still some questions about how do I have enough clients so that when
Hmm.
I'm finishing with my existing clients, I've got enough to carry on the momentum or the consistency. Um, what's the next stage from that? Let's say you solve that. What happens next?
Probably. Then I would, because I'm constantly looking for different ways to like think about stuff, I would probably start creating different products. Like group coaching versus one-on-one coaching, or um, some sort of a book, or it would be the next iteration of how can I continue to help more people? Like, how can I get this out to more folks? And what does that look like?
And so if we look at those two, so it's kind of conflicting, right? In some sense, it feels like I need more clients, but then I want to help more people. So it's like, right? It's like we have to deal with one, then we deal with the other.
Mm-hmm.
What if we flipped it? What if we said by doing the group coaching or the different products, then we get more customers?
Yeah, that's been on my mind lately. It's interesting that you say that, because I my current passion is to work with younger folks, like high school ish, and helping them figure out that nobody's as worried about them as they think they are, and you know, people can only hurt your feelings if you give them permission, kind of stuff. And the way to do that is to get a whole bunch of them in a room together and work with them. And then from there, if they want to continue, then obviously they could reach out and become a client one-on-one. So I've definitely been thinking about that. And then I have the same kind of issue of, how do I let people know that that's a thing? How do I get people to be aware of it?
And so, what are the ideas that are going through your mind about how you might do that?
Um, Connecting with people I know. So when my kids were little, I was super active in the PTA, and I'm not going to run for president though. But so I know a lot of people from one particular school district, and so I was going to start with them and see how I can. Like, I've talked to the superintendent, and he loves the idea of teaching this skill to kids and somehow creating some sort of curriculum around it. And but because it's a school system, it has to fit into a particular box, which is, one of my least favorite restrictions, is what box do you fit in. So trying to figure out how I can incorporate it into what they're already teaching, and then I would be in front of an audience, and then I know once I connect with some kids that I would kind of be off to the races. I just need the initial group.
So if we're sitting thinking, okay, the reaching the marketing is essentially getting attention, or we can at least
Hmm.
talk about that part of marketing, right? How do we get the attention of enough people so that we have enough work, so we can make enough of an impact?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, so we can either keep doing one-to-ones and then flip it to group, or we can go group and then get more one-to-ones from that.
Yes.
And then it's like, okay, but we still have the same problem of attention. So then we think, okay, let's leverage
Exactly.
our network.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say we've leveraged our network. What
Hmm.
happens then?
Uh, like, as next layers of people to work with, or once I'm hugely successful with people in my network?
Oh, so that's the idea, that if you leverage your network, you'll be hugely successful from that.
I truly believe that once I have a group of people that have experienced this, and like tangibly felt the differences that it can make, that it will really support itself in word of mouth. And um,
Yeah.
I mean, I truly believe it's that powerful to be able to help people. And I work in the world of ADHD, but ADHD in particular, helping them with the social. And I've been trying to figure out what the right word is, because it's not confidence. I mean, it is and it isn't, and it's not. I just, the concept itself is like believing in yourself and loving yourself, which is woo woo for a lot of people. But at the same time, knowing that nothing anyone else can do or say, other than physically harming you, is going to impact who you are. What's that called? Like, that whole concept of kind of who you are, how you are, and how you move through the world is up to you. Like, no one else can change that for you. Does that make sense?
Mm. So you're trying to figure out the right way to frame that.
Yes. Yes.
Loving yourself is woo-woo?
For a lot of people, it's and maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, I'm a data point of one as far as what I believe to be true, but I get the sense from and that it's kind of like, oh yeah, okay, I just need to like myself. Okay, it's like, no, like you really have to be in a relationship with yourself. Like you really have to almost become two parts of the relationship, the part you are and the part you want to be, and have those two interact together and get you to understand all of your parts and all of your wonderfulness and how that can be not literally can't be impacted by anybody else unless you let them.
And so if we were talking, was it high school kids you were talking about as the
Yeah.
idea? So
Yeah.
if
That would be my dream, is
how
to
would that
save them.
land? How would that land with a high school kid? What you just said.
Then that's where I'm trying to figure out the right um metaphor, analogy, verbiage for what would ring true for them. Because so many, we hear about this all the time, the anxiety generation and the disconnected generation. It's all these things that are negative, but they haven't lost the abilities. They haven't lost the muscles. They just need to make them stronger. Like none of us have evolved to the point where we can't connect with other people. It hasn't, we still have all that ability. We just need to make it stronger. And so, how do I convince kids who don't think they're worth having other people talk to them step up and talk to other people and share their ideas?
And so maybe that's the part of the marketing. Is that the part of the marketing that's the challenge, or is it the actual getting their attention in the first place that's the challenge?
I think it's getting the right kind of nugget of an idea. And then from there, I think I can make it known, like through schools and counselors and stuff like that. And maybe I'm making it too complicated that I have to have the, exact right thing so that it catches their attention. But I'm trying to be concise enough such that it rings true with a lot of people.
I call that positioning. So how do you position your value? Like if you've got value to, because the only way to get rewarded by the market is to present value to the market, tangible
Yes.
value that people recognize and are willing to exchange their time and their money and their energy for. So I call that
Right.
positioning. So it would maybe be fair to talk about two challenges. It's how to position your value in a way where the right people understand it,
Mm-hmm.
and also how to get their attention in the first place so that you can position
Yes.
value.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You have
Yeah.
two kids now
Yeah.
that are just gone 20, roughly speaking.
Yep.
What would you,
20, 21, 24. Yeah.
so if 10 years ago, what would you have said to them about what you do?
Um, like how would I have told them about it?
Hmm?
Um, I probably did.
You
I'm
imagine
sure they
them at
loved it.
14, imagine them at 14 and 11. If you can think
Yeah.
back to that period.
Um,
What would you have said to now
yeah.
if you were trying to explain to, because obviously you weren't doing this particular thing at that time.
Right. Right. Um, how would I explain it to them? I guess it would be trying to, well, and I've had some younger clients. Like I explained to one client, um, you know, he's ADHD. So literally you're running a race with a 50-pound backpack and everyone else looks like they have the same backpack, but they don't have the 50-pound weight and you're keeping up with them. So you've got this thing that's heavier than everybody else. And I said, in school is really a game and you need to learn how to play that game. And the grades don't represent how smart you are. The grades don't represent even your level of knowledge. They're just a man-made, system that somebody came up with a long time ago to make people feel good or bad about themselves, as far as I'm concerned. And he just looked at me right in the eye and was like, "Yeah, I don't think that's true." And I was like, well, okay, first of all, I'm very proud of the fact that you could say that to me and that you're comfortable enough telling me that. But then his mom pops over and she's like, no, it's true. It's true. It's all a game. And he was just, his mind, you could tell his mind hurt because he's like, no, this is my whole life. Like,
Yeah.
this is all I've ever done.
Mm.
And you're telling me this is like a simulation? This is a game and it doesn't actually matter? I'm like, so that's the nut to crack with younger people is they're so in it that they can't see the forest for the trees. And it's such a true thing for them. Like that is their truth.
I suppose
Grades are everything.
I suppose my question, it's a really cool idea, this, what you're talking about, because essentially communication is the key that unlocks the door, right?
Yeah.
How that lands. And then, so the first thing that came to my mind is, what does he want? Actually, what does he want?
Right.
And so if you ask the 14-year-old or 15-year-old what they want, what do they want? What would they say?
Well, they stare at you blankly because they're used to being they're used to being told what they want, and that's part of the problem.
Hmm.
Um, and it's like I can remember asking my dad, "Hey, Dad, are you hungry?" And he looks at his watch. I'm like, "It's like, well, I don't know. Is it time for me to be hungry?" I'm like, are seems like a pretty basic question, but he was so programmed that you're hungry at lunchtime and you're hungry at dinner time. Like, and that's what kind of what you're up against. It's so ingrained in every part of it that we think is just like, well, yeah, no, that of course you're hungry at lunchtime. It's like, no, are you hungry right now? Like, why can't you check in with yourself? Because it's not taught. Like, there is nothing in any curriculum or parenting book that says, you know what you should do? You should teach your kids to listen to their own gut and believe their bodies.
And that's separate from ADHD. Actually, it's
Oh yeah, yeah.
I used to do. I have this program called the One Page Plan,
Oh,
which is essentially putting who you want to be on one page.
oh,
And
I
so
love it.
we look at vision, dream life. We look at purpose, principles, values, strategies, roles, lessons, goals. It's from Jim Rohn's personal philosophy idea,
Oh, okay.
or as he said it, personal philosophy. And Stephen Covey a little bit, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and of course Tony Robbins was hugely influenced by Jim Rohn. So it's these
Right.
ideas about map out who you want to be and then aim at that fully. And so
Mm-hmm.
I went and pitched this. No one would pay me for this, and I went and pitched it to charities. I thought charities, if I'm going to work for free, I might as well work for charities because then at least I'm giving something to people that are looking for handouts.
Yes.
Plus,
Yes.
I was thinking a little bit like charities have trustees and sponsors and donors, and they might see what I do, and and that actually turned out to be true. And so I would go to, and I would target kids too because I love working with kids,
Oh, great.
any age really, but mostly teens, troubled teens. And I would pitch them, and I'd say, okay, I want them in a room for 4 days, and we're going to work 12 hours a day, and they're like, they're not going to sit in a room. They can't even sit in a room for 3 minutes. And I said, how do you know that? And they say, because we've tried. And I say, but you haven't done it my way. And they go, well, what's different? And I said,
Exactly.
I'm going to ask them questions, not tell them what to do.
Yes.
And they said, yeah, whatever. We'll give you 2 hours or something like that. I said, fine,
Okay. I'll take it.
I'll take it. And then in the 2 hours, they're just sitting like this and no one wants to leave.
Yeah.
And I remember this one kid, Humphrey, said, I want to bring my sleeping bag. I don't want to go home.
Oh, that's so cute.
And they heard. And then they started to understand the power of it. And the idea was, let me ask them how they see the world. Let me ask them to paint their model of the world and how they see it and how they want it to be and what's stopping them and what they believe they can do and what they believe is true. And then I can challenge those beliefs
Yes.
by asking questions. That's the Socratic method, which is what
Yeah.
coaching is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly powerful. But the difficulty is, how do I sell that
Mm-hmm.
as an
Yeah.
idea?
Right.
And I think one thing you want to think about, Peggy, is sometimes we need a tangible outcome.
Yes.
And love yourself
Yeah.
isn't one.
I know.
And feel like you belong and make it a game isn't a tangible outcome.
Exactly.
And I think that's something you want to think about.
Okay.
So if we look at high school kids.
Mm-hmm.
They either want to fit in, or they want to get into the sports team, or they want to get their grades up, or they want to make college, or they want to be invited
Yep.
to the cool kids party.
Yeah.
And I think that's a better angle
Mm-hmm.
than explaining what's going on. And I'll tell you
Right.
how
Right.
I know that. I sell my offer at I'll show you how to make money on LinkedIn. But I'm not really doing that. I'm getting into mindset. I'm challenging limiting beliefs. I'm getting people to believe in themselves. I'm getting them to understand psychology of persuasion and marketing and positioning and selling. But no one buys that.
Right.
Like, unless you're
Yeah.
special, like if they want to learn sales, they'll go to a sales specialist, or if they want to learn mindset, they'll go to a mindset. So they already know. You already know you're hungry. You're going to look for a restaurant. You're not going to wait for the restaurant to come and
Yeah.
pitch you.
Right.
And
Right.
so I had to come up with a tangible outcome
Mm-hmm.
to be able to then do the work that I do.
Right.
And the easiest tangible
Yeah.
outcome, or the simplest one for me, was you want to make money? I'll show you how to make money.
Mm-hmm. Because who doesn't want that, right?
Yeah, well, right.
Yeah.
So then that would be my challenge to you. It's like, pick an outcome to get enough
Mm-hmm.
kids interested,
Yes.
to then get the other kids, because then that's where the social proof happens, where they'll
Mm-hmm.
turn around and say, "Oh my God, it wasn't just about the prom or
Right.
whatever. It was she got me
Exactly.
to learn about myself, and I didn't realize that we have two parts to us, and whatever it is."
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's all they do, kids, is they talk to each other about what they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
No, I like it very much because in my mind, I kept visualizing kids going through the workshop and going home, and the parents being like, I don't recognize this kid. Like, this isn't the same kid I dropped off this morning. And that's amazing. And that's the kind of impact that I truly believe it can have. And then giving that a name, because I have a hard time with, I think, um, are you familiar with Brene Brown?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
So her whole thing about fitting in, again, you're trying to fit into a box, whereas being accepted is all your points and round parts fit perfectly. So fitting in, and for ADHDers in particular, fitting in is like it's the golden thing to
You
have.
gotta feel like you
Is
belong. It's that kind of thing.
yeah, yep, yep,
Yeah, yeah. My question would be: is that tangible enough? And that's what you got to figure out,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is that tangible enough? Because if I think I'm strange, if
Mm-hmm.
I've been told I'm strange, or if I believe I'm strange, then you saying I'll show you how to fit in doesn't. It's like, no, I can't, because the belief's already there,
Exactly. Yes,
right?
yes, yeah, yeah.
So it's like, I would say to a kid, what if you did fit in? What would happen then?
Right. What would that look like?
What would change for you? Oh,
Yeah.
I'd have a girlfriend.
Right. Right. Right.
That's
Yeah.
the outcome they're looking for.
Right.
Or I'd be invited to the cool kids party, or I'd make the football team, or
Right. Yeah.
you see what
I
I'm
like that.
saying? Like the
Mm-hmm.
fitting in
Mm-hmm.
is the sense of belonging is the pathway to, or they need the proof that they belong. They need to see the proof
Yes.
that they belong, rather than just be told. Because again, the whole life is you're being told what you are, how you
Exactly.
feel, and it's like you're just another person saying that you can fit in.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with you. It's like, yeah, whatever. I don't trust adults.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah. That old lady. What does she got? Yeah. How does she know?
yeah. Because I
um.
figured out I didn't trust adults when I was very young, so it didn't matter what anyone said.
Oh yeah. 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 And yeah, that's been the struggle, is trying to figure out what it is, and maybe that's where I'm trying to come at it with like the right way to say it.
Hmm.
Is maybe that's the same idea. Is like, what is the tangible thing that they can touch, see, and feel as a result of
Yeah.
this?
And if I were you,
So.
I would offer free seminars or sharing circles at school with a group of them. And I would
Mhm.
just go around and say, what do you really want? If you could, if I
Yeah.
could
Oh,
give
I
you
like
one
that.
wish now, what would that be? If I could make one thing happen that
Okay.
isn't happening, and just listen, and then you'll get a cluster of different ideas,
Mhm.
and that becomes the outcomes that they're looking for. And you can, hopefully you'll have a variety of them, and then you can pick them, but there
Mm-hmm.
might be one clear winner, and then it's like, we'll go with that then.
Yeah. I like that idea. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to talk to my school friends, find out how I can do that.
That's
Yeah.
what I would, that's real marketing for me, is if I don't know what to say, I'll go and find that out first. And
Right.
then
Okay. Yeah.
because you know that you got the product.
Yes.
Most people need to do the research to figure out what the product is. You've got the
Right.
product.
Yeah. No.
You
Yeah.
need to figure out how to package it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like that.
right?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, we talked quite a bit, and I think we could have talked even more, really, even about the topic itself. But we talked about how lockdown got you into coaching, and you got qualified with a proper coaching program. Not a lot of people do that either. And you knew that was what you were meant to do or you wanted to do, at least at
Mm-hmm.
that time.
Mm-hmm.
But you were struggling, typically, with all of us struggling to find clients, the right clients at the right time, at the right consistency. And you said you're still trying to figure that out to some degree.
Yep.
Um, we also talked about how isolating solopreneurship is, the fact that you got to make your own decisions and figure it out on your own. But if you're doing what you want to be doing,
Mm-hmm.
then it doesn't really matter. You can tolerate that.
Yeah.
Um, it's all good, you know. We then talked about, okay, what happens next with you, and if you figure out this getting clients thing, and you talked about raising the impact and or increasing the impact, and that's by going through group coaching or finding another way like that, or creating products. And I asked you, well, what if we flipped it? What if we did that to find more one-to-ones? And that was an idea you were open to. And I think that's something people often miss. They think, oh, it's one-to-one first, then group. And
Yeah.
I think if you know what you're doing and you know how to do it, it doesn't really matter then. The one-to-one helps you learn your craft,
Right. Right.
right? But if you know your craft and you know it works, you don't need the one-to-one anymore, really. Um, and so then you talked about that you've been thinking about that, and the high school kids was an interesting idea. And we talked about
Mm-hmm.
how to tackle them. And of course, network is a really important lesson for anyone listening. If you have a network, you know, I talk about leads all the time. As in a murder mystery, what's a lead? The lead is not the murderer.
Right.
The
No.
lead is what leads you to the murderer. Well, you can
It's
think
the
of leads in the
clue.
same
Yeah.
way. Who can lead me to the client?
Right. Right.
It doesn't have to be
Oh,
the
I like
client
that.
that's the lead. So you can go and ask people, say, listen, I've got this idea. Do you know anyone who would be interested
Yeah.
or who would benefit from this? And I'm willing to do, you know, a deal to get some social proof and some feedback
Mm-hmm.
so that I can get word out. And I think you're probably right. If the results are the way you expect them to be, then one school or one group of kids might be enough to
Yeah.
open the
Yeah.
door.
I I think it's something needed.
I think
So
so. And then, of course,
yeah.
I talked about two different challenges now: positioning, how do we present the offer and package the offer to the market, as well as how to then convince people to buy. And we got into that topic about how to find the right way to position it. And I think I'm
Mm-hmm.
convinced that you have to find a tangible outcome that's going to
Yeah.
alienate some,
Yes.
because not
And that's
everyone wants to
okay.
make money. You know, I talk to people, they're like, no, I'm making money. I just need more time off, or I want to scale, or I want better systems, or I want to take a holiday and I can't. And it's like, oh, that's a different problem. So,
Right.
right, not
Exactly.
everybody wants to make more money, actually. Um, so you might alienate people with a particular offer as an outcome, but you're going to get enough people to say, I want that. And then that's enough to then,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazon built its name on books. I
Yeah.
didn't buy
That's true.
books. I didn't buy books, but when Amazon started selling other things, book readers would say, "Oh, we use Amazon for books. It's great because it just arrives the next day and blah blah blah." Oh, really? Oh, I should check it out to buy whatever I'm buying. And it's
Yeah.
the same
Yeah.
idea with you. If you're helping people achieve X, but you're showing them lots of things that they can't see about themselves, then they're definitely going to tell people about you.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say to? That was my summary of the discussion. Is there anything you want to say to close that off, or anything else that you want to add to that?
um. Not really. I mean, I love this kind of exchange. So I appreciate that you're doing this, and um, that's one of my favorite things to do. Is just kind of, what do you think? What do you think? And bounce ideas off each other. So yeah, I appreciate it very much. This is great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. Is there anything that you want to say to the audience about where they can find you, or what you'd like to, why you'd like them to reach out, anything like that?
Yeah. So my company name is Blue Lake Coaching, and I have an ADHD quiz. So find out your flavor of ADHD, and it walks you through. And ADHD or not, it just kind of gives you an idea about how you are organized, if you're good at time management, starting and completing tasks, all that kind of thing. And the very last question is, do you know Mo? And if you know Mo,
What happens?
then the debrief for the flavor is basically a coaching session. So it's an hour-long coaching session,
Oh, amazing.
whereas normally it's only like a 20-minute debrief on here's what your flavor looks like. So if you know Mo,
Leverage that network, huh?
exactly.
That's super cool. You've been such a pleasure to talk to, and I appreciate your time. And we only met each other recently, so we got this together pretty
Yeah,
quick. Really cool.
yeah.
I'll put all the details in the session notes, and we'll make sure that we got that all right out there. And of course,
Okay.
anyone who listens to this, please reach out to Peggy or ask me about Peggy, and I'll introduce you.
Yes,
But
please.
until we meet again, Peggy Sullivan, I
Yeah,
appreciate you and thank you for your time.
yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great day or
Amazing.
evening. I'm not sure where you are.
Evening. I'm at my dad's house in London, so I'm going to go have
Oh,
dinner.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Alrighty. Speak soon, huh?
Okay. Bye. Thanks.
The difference between surviving and thriving often comes down to a single shift in perspective. Maybe today's conversation sparked something for you, or maybe it confirmed what you already knew. I'm going to keep exploring what it takes to reach the next level. For more solopreneur stories, hit subscribe. And if you know someone who'd be perfect for the team of one, please introduce us on LinkedIn. See you next time. Peace.